And we are live. We are live. Sergeant Horror here for Mad Monster with Janie Slash. What are you up to today, Janie?
Hi, everybody. I am preparing to go to Vegas. So I've been packing all day after a long night of paranormal investigating.
Now, what are you going to do in Vegas?
I'm going on vacation, so I'm going to go check out the Haunted Museum. I think it's called the Golden Tiki Bar. Go try to see all the spooky shit. That's pretty much what I'm after, all the ghosty stuff.
When you said the Haunted Museum, were you going to the Zach Baggins Haunted Museum?
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I touched a bunch of stuff when I was there. Like I touched Gacy's van. They tell you don't touch nothing.
Yeah, so you're told not to touch anything.
But I will touch everything.
Mm-hmm. I've done it before.
Yeah, I could catch you, but they didn't catch me. I got through the whole thing. I got Kevorkian's van. I was in there. I was trying to steal John Wayne Gacy's pot. Not Gacy's pot. It was Ed Gein's pot.
Ed Gein's pot, yeah. I could see you like trying to like grab it and be like, I came in with this pot. It's in my family. It's not Ed Gein's pot.
No.
No.
But once you go up there and you come back, we got to have a discussion about it and talk about the museum.
Definitely. I heard there's Twilight Zone mini golf somewhere.
I don't know. I went up there. I went to the Haunted Museum. Mm-hmm. What's going on, Daniel? Welcome to the live feed. Appreciate you joining. Anybody watching, be sure to share this out to all your friends. Be sure to like it, subscribe to our page, hit the reminder button because we got all kinds of crazy stuff. But when I went to the Haunted Museum the next day, I drove up to Tonopah, Nevada.
What is there?
The Clown Motel.
Oh, I want to go so bad. So my friend that I'm traveling with is like, we're not going to the Clown Motel.
It's a long drive. Somebody asked me how you get there, and this is not a lie. You drive all the way north of Vegas, and you keep going, and you're going to hit an Area 51 brothel.
Okay.
Then the next town, you hang a right, and then you just keep going so far up there north. You go to Goldfield, which has the Goldfield Hotel, which is supposedly a portal to hell.
I want to wait. What? Which one's a portal to hell?
The Goldfield Motel. That is the place that Zach Baggins went to when they did the Ghost Adventures documentary before he had the TV show. And it was crazy. So then. Past that about 35 miles is the Clown Motel, but they also have a motel called the Mizpah Hotel, which is a haunted motel haunted by a lady in red. Mm-hmm. So it's crazy.
You ever notice that? It's like ladies in red or like ladies in all white or naked ladies.
Nah, I don't know what I'd do if I pulled up somewhere and some naked lady ghost thing come out. That probably scared the bejesus.
I think the big thing. So I live in Texas, and Texas is the old South. So you're talking about like saloons and brothels, and I'm sure a lot of that was in the North too. But like everything you encounter, like especially like we have a small town here called Jefferson, Texas. Have you heard of Jefferson? It's like the most haunted small town in Texas. Like everything is like haunted there, and everything was a brothel or a saloon, and people died in like almost every single doorway. And so I stayed at an Airbnb called the Con Saloon, and it was supposed to be haunted by a naked lady. I never saw the naked lady, but
you would it be solid like you could see through her and you wouldn't know it was a person or a ghost, or do you think it was one of them like translucent, foggy, naked people?
I don't know, because I've never seen a ghost. Have you ever seen one?
I've seen some people that look like they seen ghosts, but I ain't never really had no ghosts get up after me. I've always been more concerned about the living than I am the dead.
The living is what you got to worry about, for sure.
Elizabeth says, hey, Sarge and Janie.
Hi, Elizabeth.
And Brandon H said, hey, y'all, good to meet you at Mad Monster. Thanks for taking the time to stop and say hi and snap a pic. Anytime, Brandon, I had a blast. And Daniel said he met Zach when he came to St. Louis. He got an energy about him.
What kind of energy are we talking about? Like,
well, if you go to the museum, you go get to see him if you get there first thing when they open in the morning.
Okay.
And my advice is don't drive there, Uber there, because like you're gonna have to wait for them to open the parking, and then by the time that happens, you got to get in line. But anyway,
Yeah, we're gonna Uber everywhere, so.
and they had what was I saying? Oh, but we was gonna talk about our favorite horror movies, so I might as well jump on that. What's your favorite horror movie, Jane?
Okay, so my favorite series is Friday the 13th. I'm a big Jason Voorhees fan, and I also love Evil Dead. Sam Raimi's my favorite director, so I love like Bruce Campbell, pretty much anything with Bruce Campbell. But yeah, Evil Dead's definitely my favorite. And Friday the 13th.
So you said Friday the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Which one of the series do you like the most?
Part 3.
Is that also your favorite Jason?
It's hard. It's hard. I would say.
I know. Yeah, I ain't gonna make you pick one because we end up seeing all of them, and you know we love them all.
They all have something different that they bring to the table. I do have a special place in my heart for CJ Graham because we did the photo op and it was so fun. He's such a fun person to do photo ops with at Mad Monster. He killed me with machete.
I like that Jason X photo op that they had. What was Kane Hodder in the Uber Jason outfit? I think Tom Devlin did that makeup.
I am a huge fan of Jason X, and I know a lot of people don't like that movie, but I actually really love that movie. Especially the last scene with the two girls, like the end scene with the two girls in the camping, and they're all like, "Hey, you want to smoke some weed?" Or no, "Hey, you want a beer?" Or "Hey, you want to have premarital sex?" We love premarital sex. And then I see he's got the sleeping bag, and then he's just like.
Now, everybody watching this, I want you to be sure you comment what your favorite horror movies. Janie's is so far the Friday the 13th series and
Evil Dead.
Now, what did you think? Do you like Evil Dead more like part 1 was, where it was more serious, or did you like it when it got all kind of kooky?
Oh man. So it's a tough one because they're both so different, and I do like the serious ones. I'm not a fan of the remake or the reimagining. But I do love the original, but I really love Evil Dead 2 Dead by Dawn just because it's so fun, especially the scene where Bruce Campbell's like wrestling his own hand. And then it was kind of the more type of camera angles and shots that Sam Raimi's a little bit more famous for. But Army of Darkness, which is kind of a big departure, I think, from your typical horror films, is probably one of my most favorite movies. But I'm not 100% sure if some people would necessarily consider that horror, because it's really funny. It's more comedy with like some horror elements, but I definitely enjoy Army of Darkness. Is like probably my happy movie. It's like, oh, I've had a shit day, I'm gonna go put on Army of Darkness because I enjoy that. And I really do like Bubba Hotep too, as far as talking about Bruce Campbell movies. And My Name is Bruce is fun too.
Now, Jim wants to know, Sarge, are you going to order the Scream Factory 4K Halloween 1 through 5? No. Scream Factory is not getting any more of my money until they start supporting indie films. I am tired of these Hollywood studios reboxing and claiming they remastered stuff and wanting to sell me the same shit. I want something new. I got like 10 copies of Halloween in there. I ain't gonna buy no more. I'm just saying, I'm sorry for the tangent. Bless you, Jim, if you buy them, but until us as horror fans start voting with our dollars and stop buying these repackaged movies. I mean, hell, I got all the Halloween on VHS. I got all the Friday the 13th on VHS. I mean, I'm just tired of Scream Factory. Shudder too, but that's another whole video. Sorry. Elizabeth said, do you watch Ash versus Evil Dead?
Yeah, I do. Or I did. Mm-hmm. I was really sad when it ended, but I did like how it had kind of a Mad Max style ending. I kind of wish I could have seen what they were shown where it was going or headed.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought they did pretty good. It kind of had that it kind of reminded me of, like, I hate to say it like this, maybe I'm not describing it right, but in my mind I am. It's like Ash versus Evil Dead, the TV show, has that like Tucker and Dale feel.
A little bit.
But I think Bruce Campbell was the original Tucker and Dale, if that makes sense, when it comes to horror comedy.
Yeah. What I love about him is he can poke fun at himself. But what were you saying? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I like to see them all work together.
Fun.
That would be fun. Jim says mine is Friday the 13th. My Scream Facts biker, he said, is also my top 3 are 2, 4, and 6.
Mm-hmm.
Jim said, I'm not buying it at all. I got them all. That's what I'm talking about. Let's not buy them. Robert.
Yeah, Ash versus Evil Dead was a great series.
And Daniel says Fear Street is actually pretty good. I have to, I think Fear Street 1994, I couldn't even watch it. I was watching it, and then I did this the whole time. Oh, is that Portishead? Is that Cypress Hill? Is that? It had the best soundtrack ever. I could not tell what the movie was about because I was remembering all those songs.
So soundtrack's important, right? You want to hear good music, or do you think that horror films should have more atmospheric music, or does it just depend on what kind of movie you're watching? Because it definitely works better for more paranormal, spooky ghost stories, I think, if you're having something more atmospheric.
Well, I think the Fear Street series is just a cash grab. They got a bunch of money from Netflix. It didn't feel like it had any passion in it. It kind of felt like Scream, very cookie cutter, very, by the numbers type of thing. But it wasn't bad. But I've worked on films, and I know you've worked on plenty of films, and it's so hard to license music.
Yeah.
You get people saying, "Hey, put my song in your movie," and then they want $500 million more money than what they made selling the song all over the place.
See, I work in ultra low budget horror films, and they usually there's a lot of bands in Texas, so it's usually one of the actors in the band is like, "Here, have our music." So it's most of our most of our movies have local music in them.
That's cool. But yeah, I would say Fear Street is very far from my favorite. Patrick says Jason Takes Manhattan is the best. Friday the 13th.
So, funny story. That was probably the last Jason movie I saw, and I'd actually skipped it, which is terrible, I know. I should be a completionist. But somebody made me watch that just for the scene where the guy boxes Jason.
I want to see them do a Victor Crowley Takes Manhattan. I think that'll be the funniest movie ever.
Why don't we have a Victor Crowley versus Jason?
Because they suing for the Jason. They ain't gonna never make another Jason movie ever because them greedy suckers is in court.
That sucks. I didn't know that. But that would be a really rad mashup. I think that'd be better than Freddy versus Jason.
I'd like to see Freddy versus Ash or something like that. Somebody do a mashup with Ash.
That would be a good mashup. And I thought, didn't they talk about doing that, or was that just a wish, something that somebody was wishing would happen?
I think they talked about it was a wish, because I know for a while they were trying to do a found footage version of Friday the 13th, and they were actually going to do that until the court case, which I think that would be an interesting approach, a found footage slasher.
How do you feel about found footage films? Do you like them?
Oh, I like them. I watched one that a friend of mine did this week called Behind the Titans. It's kind of like Blair Witch with clowns. It's on Amazon, too. Voodoo, all them little streaming things they got out there. I mean, I like them if they're done right. I don't like them when they shake too much.
Yeah, there's some that aren't done super well, or some that you can tell aren't actually found footage.
Yeah.
Are very Hollywood looking. So.
Now, Jim says, Sarge, have you asked the space station question yet? Nope, I hadn't. It's one question we usually say. If you had to go on a space station, let's say for 5 years, and you could only bring one movie with you, a horror movie, what would it be?
One movie. That's a hard one. I'm thinking. I mean, can I say Army of Darkness?
Yeah, you can pick any one.
I'm going to go with Army of Darkness. I would say Army.
Patrick says the scariest found footage film he's ever seen in his wedding video. That's what I'm talking about.
Are you still married? That's the important question.
That's the. And Daniel says Sleepaway Camp. Fear Street 1978 was like a Sleepaway Camp remake. Have you watched any of the Fear Street?
Not yet.
Daniel said The Exorcist. The Exorcist is. I hate that they're remaking that. That's going to be crazy. But
it doesn't need to be remade.
No, and one of my absolute favorite horror movies is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Have you been to the gas station?
I hadn't been to Texas ever in my life, but kind of Texas Chainsaw Massacre scared the bejesus out of me. I'm kind of scared to go on out there.
You should come to Texas. You can go to the gas station, and they have We Slaughter Barbecue, and you can hold the big chainsaw. This is like We Are Family. And then you can even camp there. They also have the house from the movie, the first one, the original. It is in Kingsland, Texas, and they moved it there, and it's now a restaurant. And then it's the only thing that you can kind of like see, like the door that, Leatherface would like slam close, where he took the bodies to hang them up on the meat hooks. And the upstairs, they have like, I don't know if it's changed now, but they had like pictures and memorabilia from the movie up there. And they also show how they moved it from piece by piece to Kingsland, Texas. But yeah, it's like a railroad themed restaurant now. You can have a really good fried chicken there. I mean, I don't eat meat, but when I did eat meat, that's what I ate.
Now, do you think, like looking at the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, do you think somewhere in Texas there were people like that? Because when I watch Wrong Turn, I know there's people like that in West Virginia just waiting for you to take the wrong turn and kill you.
Oh, probably. Texas is so vast. It takes 13 hours to drive just across the entire state from side to side. And some of the areas you go into, like going into small towns and things like that, yeah, absolutely. I can see that happening. And it's crazy because the scenery changes. You'll have endless cornfields, and then there'll be some desert, and then some mountains, and then you'll have all these trees and these woodsy areas and some hills. Texas is such a bizarre state. Plus, we have Bigfoot sightings. Up in the Texarkana area, you can go get you some Bigfoot on. I have friends that are Bigfoot investigators that go look for that, and cryptozoologists, and because we're really close to Falk, Arkansas.
Man, I understand people go Bigfoot hunting, but it's like if you was out there in the woods and you ran up on a Bigfoot, what would you do? I mean, would you try to talk to it? Would you run? Would you try to take a selfie with it? What would you do?
I think Bigfoot's a really hairy backwoods hillbilly.
Then I know a few Bigfoot.
Yeah, I would be like, "Hi, Bigfoot!" Take pictures of it before I run screaming.
Now, do you think the Bigfoots down there in Texas that people try to hunt, do you think they're killers, or do you think they just want to be left alone? Or?
I mean, they're hiding. So I think they just want to be left alone. They're probably leave me alone. I just want to live. I mean, do you want to be hunted? Probably not.
No.
What is your favorite cryptid?
Critter thing?
No, cryptid. You got the Jersey Devil, you have the Mothman, you've got Bigfoot, you have Chupacabra.
I don't know, because I'm crazy, but I don't go up in the woods looking for those wild things to come and get me.
Yeah.
I don't like monsters. They start monstering on me, I start killing on them. I don't.
No.
The thing that scares me is snakes. Somebody wants to die real quick, throw a snake on me.
I mean, snakes are scary. Depending on what kind of snake you got. It could be poisonous, or it could be venomous, and it could kill you. I'm a rat girl. I have tons and tons. I have 8 pet rats, so I'm not a huge. I'm cool with snakes, but they eat my pets, so I'm not 100% bring snake over.
Well, the reason I got the snake on the brain is because here in North Carolina, there was some idiot, and I'm just going to call him an idiot.
Okay.
Because a few months ago, his pet spitting cobra freaking snake that's venomous got loose, and he didn't tell nobody.
Why?
So
that's kind of important.
Yeah, that's kind of important. If you own a venomous snake and he gets out or she gets out, you need to let somebody know. But he got out, and then like weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks pass by, and somebody opens up their back porch door, and there's a spitting cobra, a zebra spitting cobra on the porch.
What happened?
They called the authorities. And they got it, and they tracked the guy down because he was on TikTok showing his little snakes around. And, apparently he had 57 venom. He had over 500 snakes in the basement, and 57 rare venomous ones.
Why?
Because the crazy people here in North Carolina, which I live, God bless the Carolinas, but they legally let you have venomous snakes as pets, which I think that's the biggest, craziest thing that they probably should not let anyone do.
Do they have like any restrictions? Like, do you have to have hopefully you have to have like some type of licensing, and I would think you need some anti-venom just in case you get bit.
There's all kinds of laws and stuff you're supposed to abide by, but this kid, I mean, literally looked like he's like early 20s, and they charged him with maybe 60 different misdemeanors and felonies regarding the way he was keeping his snakes.
That's horrible.
But I mean, my thing,
responsible.
I'd hate to. What would you do? You go invite it to somebody's house, and they're like, "Oh, come downstairs and look at my new TV," and you walk down there and there's 500 freaking snakes.
No, I wouldn't hang out with them anymore. I'd be like, well, that's neat. I don't feel like dying if any of your snakes get out, and clearly they don't tell people, so I wouldn't want to hang out with them.
No.
I mean, I have friends with odd pets, but not snakes. I mean, I have friends who have like tarantulas and axolotls and scorpions and all these types of pets. But
they got the axolotl in that Minecraft game.
Do they? Mm-hmm. They're so cute. I like how they look like they're smiling.
They just added that. Elizabeth says the movie that scared me and is at the top of my list is The Exorcism of Emily Rose. That's a good one.
It freaked me out. Who was the actress in that movie? She was a Dexter's sister, right?
Dexter's sister, yeah.
What's her name though? Jennifer.
Dexter's sister.
Dexter's sister.
Dexter.
She was really good in it. Like, she really sold it really well. It was a really good performance. Really good.
Jim says the best kill in the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Mine was Jerry running through the house and then getting hit in the head with the sledgehammer, followed closely by the meat hook.
What about the girl came out of the cooler and ball? It was like a good jump scare.
And I liked it when they killed Franklin because I hated Franklin in the wheelchair. He's like, y'all leave me downstairs. Yeah.
Well, the hitchhiker, Ed Neal, he lives in the Texas area, and he does a lot of conventions out here. Have you met him?
Yeah, he was at the last Mad Monster I went to in Arizona. Him and Bill Moses.
He's so fun. Ed Neal is such a fun dude.
Yep, and I could see where Bill kind of took his inspiration from the original Hitchhiker when they made part 2. See, I don't like Texas Chainsaw. I think they did a great job in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, but I don't like it as a comedy. I like it as a serious, we go cut somebody up and eat them type of movie.
So you don't like it?
I mean, I think they did well, but I'd prefer Leatherface to be a serious movie.
So you don't like the Dennis Hopper Chainsaw?
I mean, it's a little over the top. It was kind of like if I want to laugh, I'll watch something like that. But if I want to get creeped out, I think that scene in the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre where Grandpa's trying to hit her in the head and he ain't got the strength.
Grandpa was horrifying.
just the simplest stuff is horrifying, and I think that's a lesson that modern day filmmakers need to learn. Is Texas Chainsaw Massacre did not show any blood. Even when he puts her on the hook, it doesn't show any blood. But it's got some of the most horrific scenes in it when the guy's shaking his leg after getting hit with the hammer. That's brilliant. The one thing that did make me laugh was when the girl was in the house and she looks up and she's screaming horrified, and it's the chicken in the bird cage. And I'm like, really? Y'all are reaching for that one, but y'all did pretty good on the other ones.
I giggled when Leatherface was chasing her around the trucker's cab or whatever it's called. Yeah, the trailer, is that what it's called? Or the tractor? The tractor? Mm-hmm. He was chasing around and he falls and the chainsaw goes into his leg and he's like, "Wah!"
Yeah, I wish they would give me, I know it would probably never happen, but I wish they would say, "Hey, Sarge, make a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie," because I would get Ed Neal and Bill Moseley in it. And make it very serious yet funny but horrifying.
I believe that you would be the person to do
it. We talked about Jim. Shane says bear hug to Bigfoot.
Maybe Bigfoot just needs a hug.
Daniel says I'd try and be Bigfoot's friend and have a beer with him or wine. And Daniel wants to remind us it could be a she.
There is a Sassy the Sasquatch.
And Jim says, do you ever go Bigfoot hunting with your drone? Drone would be pretty good to Bigfoot hunt with. I guess that would be an appropriate tool. Shane says Bigfoot and aliens.
Which one would you believe would be more likely to exist, Bigfoot or aliens? Both have some type of evidence, but have never been proven.
I mean, I think, being who I am and the way I look, I don't put nothing past nothing to exist.
I mean, you're a pig clown.
I've been called worse. Elizabeth says, give Bigfoot cheeseburgers like Harry and the Hendersons.
Harry and the Hendersons is such a great movie.
Yeah.
I went and saw that with my Bigfoot friends. But the Mecca is Legend of Boggy Creek. Everybody watches. Talk about ultra low budget horror movies.
And that BSDT. What movies have you been in?
So I've been in some low budget local films that they were briefly available to be purchased, but I don't think they're available anymore. The most recent one I just finished that's getting wrapped up, it should be out for release, is called Strix. And I was in a brothel. I was a prostitute in it. And then I was also in a movie called hold on. I never get it right. Hair Metal Shotgun Zombie Massacre. It's a very long title. It briefly played at a bunch of drive-ins last summer, in a double feature in different cities. I'm in that. And then I was in another movie. I had some extra roles in a movie called Blood Sombrero. I'm in a movie coming out called Crave Roots of Evil. It's not finished yet, but they're finishing it up right now. And then I'm going to start filming another movie next month called Dr. Gift.
So if I need you to come out here and be in a slasher with me, you come on out?
Oh, yeah. I'll be your final girl. I'll be your killer. I'm very, athletic. And I will let you even murder me in the most gruesome of ways. I'm all about being covered in blood. Also, I've done some 48-hour film races, which were a lot of fun. I'm also a makeup artist. I did makeup on another movie called 13 Tracks to Frighten Agatha Black, which isn't finished yet either. But it's going to be really amazing when it's done. So, it's in the works.
Jim says Chainsaw 3 was a better sequel. I agree. And I'm interested to see what they do with this new Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I talked to somebody that actually watched it. Mm-hmm. And they said it was good. Now I just have to wait and see for myself, but when I went on my box set rant, I hate it when you buy a box set and then they make another movie. If you're going to sell me a box set, don't make no movies.
You want it to be a complete box set.
Yeah.
This is it. You don't want to have the box set and then one movie on the other. Here's the box set and then here's the additional one.
It says, Brandon says, I still wonder what happened to the truck driver. I think they killed him.
I think he was lunch the next day.
Says, I'd gone Sasquatch hunting before with a drone. We found a bunch of deer and beer. I mean, and I like the Evil Dead also, but I think the original Evil Dead was great.
Mm-hmm.
But I really think they did a great job with the remake.
I didn't like the remake.
You didn't like the remake?
Not as much as the original. I like where they were going with it. I guess it was all the ultra gore. Just felt. I mean, I'm all about ultra gore. It just felt a little unnecessary. I'd have to rewatch it. I'll rewatch it.
I like the cats and the bait. I mean, cinematically, it looked good.
Cinematically, it was amazing. I just didn't.
It wasn't stupid like a lot of the new remakes were. Like, I like the Platinum Doom remakes. I forget which one it's called, but I call it Leatherface in the Basement remake.
Which one is that?
Huh?
Which one is that? What are we talking about?
It's like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. I like the Leatherface in the Basement one where the girl inherits the house so she's got pet Leatherface in the basement.
Oh, is that like the newest one?
I forget, but I mean, who wouldn't want a Leatherface in the basement as a pet friend and cousin? Like if Leatherface was your cousin.
What is it where she realizes she's related to Leatherface?
That's that one.
That's that one. Yeah, that one got a little far fetched.
Yeah, could you imagine like Leatherface is your cousin and he lives in the basement, and if you have any problems, you could just like open up the basement?
That's like having like the coolest like, hey, this is my secret weapon is Leatherface. Don't mess with me. I'll stick him on your ass. Like, I mean, yeah, that would be pretty cool. That would be, yeah. Like instead of having like a guard dog, you have Leatherface.
A Leatherface.
Leatherface. Yeah.
Jim said, good luck in your movies, Janie's. Jim says, I agree with you, Janie. I didn't like the remake Texas Chainsaw. It's a movie like The Exorcist you don't want to see people mess with. And this is what gets me is like this new Halloween Kills when they revived Halloween. I didn't like those because it was like, how old is Michael now? He's like 60-some years old.
Well, and it's a complete departure, and it completely neglected like a large portion of the series. Now, what do you think if they had gone the original route that John Carpenter was aiming for, where they made each? I know that like Halloween 2 kind of followed the same as Halloween, but with Halloween 3, which I actually really love, Season of the Witch, which is an unpopular opinion or a popular opinion, depending you talk to. But what do you think it would have been if they had continued on with like that versus just continuing all Michael?
I think what you have to decide is what you mean, like if they did part 4 and it would have been
like
something
a totally different story revolving around Halloween, kind of like the originally did John Carpenter wanted to do.
I think they could have did pretty good with that. I mean, because that's essentially what I think the American Horror Story people took the same idea from what the Halloween franchise was going to do. And I think anytime you have a killer like Michael, the most horrifying thing about Michael was that he was human. He was just a boy next door with a perfect middle-class family that just snapped and stabbed up his sister and, did what he did. He's crazy. He just But then when you take that killing machine and make him unstoppable and unrealistic, kind of like the way they did Jason being a zombie, it's like it takes away from being scary. The realer it is for me, the scarier it is. And when you have a killer that just nothing could stop him, age, whatever, and then you got like that whole Thorn cult thing and all that, it just gets too far-fetched. I think a good horror movie franchise should be no more than like 4 films and done.
Well, they're milking it. One of my favorite things about Halloween is, like you were saying, it's an innocent child that does something sinister. It's something about taking something so innocent and making it so dark and evil. and with no necessary reasons. They don't really, go into it. And then he's just got like some type of vendetta against the family and comes back, X amount of years later. And I like Halloween 2 as the continuation, but I kind of have rethink it. I mean, I enjoy them, but I think I'd have been okay if it had stopped there and gone on with kind of like more like of an anthology. I'm a big fan of like anthology films. Like I love Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat's probably one of the movies I could take with me on a space station and watch all the time because it's such a great movie. It's complete. I wish there was a sequel, but I kind of would have liked that because I really did enjoy Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. And John Carpenter is such an amazing director. He's made so many great movies that I kind of would like to have seen what it could have been.
Yeah, and I think maybe he's sold off the. I don't know why John didn't do another one. I mean, he had a good run for a while. I mean, I think a lot of times, like you mentioned Trick or Treat, you have this franchise you have a movie that people like, but it seems like the Hollywood folks can't get Trick or Treat 2 going. I mean, they've been talking about that for a zillion years, and it's like, who's the greedy sucker holding up the rights to Trick or Treat, and who's not financing that? Because that would be a money maker.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look at Sam. Sam is everywhere. Like, you can buy merchandise. There was a Sam statue in the store I was in Paranormal Investigating last night. Like, he's just huge. These are it's a very iconic character that it's a low budget, small film. And it's amazing. Like, it's such a good movie, and all the stories are solid. Like, I can watch all of them, and I enjoy each one individually. Sometimes when you get anthology films, you get kind of like a weaker one. But I don't recall any of them being kind of like, oh, I got to get through this one to get to the next one. So.
Brandon said you're thinking of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2013. Yep, I am. But I always call it The Leatherface in the Basement. That would have been a more appropriate title for that film.
Sometimes we have to call them that to differentiate which one we're talking about.
Andrew said, I like the Texas Chainsaw remake personally. I'm talking about the new one that hasn't been released yet. They said that might be good. Andrew, have you watched that one? Because I know they're doing test audiences right now.
I don't think I watched. Wasn't there a Leatherface origin story that was directed by the guys that did that movie Inside? There were a couple of French directors. I forget their names. I didn't get but I heard it was very good.
Millennium had the rights to Leatherface, and I think it was Krista Campbell who used to do a lot of lower budget horror movies. She was producing it. It was the first Texas movie to be shot in Belgium because Millennium has a studio there, and they just want it to be cheap. And shoot it there. It just didn't go well. They reshot the crowd. They for people that don't know in Hollywood, that knows everything about how to make a movie, they shoot a movie and then they do a test. They edit it and then they do a test audience and do like taking, and then they make changes. When they first tested the Leatherface, when that Millennium had, it sucked so bad they made them go back out to Belgium and reshoot a bunch of it. Yeah. So it's just like it's just ridiculous how you can own the right to a property like a Leatherface and screw up the movie.
Yeah, and that's super disappointing because those directors, they made like Inside was such an amazing movie, and then they remade it here, and I didn't see the remake. I didn't even watch it, but I like the French version.
Daniel said, "Isn't Michael like Jason? He's ambiguously immortal.
He's the boogeyman."
I mean, the theory is that anything can be killed.
He's just a little harder to be killed.
Yeah, and it's just fine. Like they should just, like somebody told me, like, how would you kill Jason? Like, I just cut him up in a bunch of little pieces and put him in different spots, and he can't kill no more.
Well, didn't they blow him up and Jason goes to hell? That's how it opens. And then the pieces of him come back and they just like possess other people's bodies. And then
if you cut the head off like we did his mama, I bet you he would die. Like, put it in the refrigerator with the mama.
But they blew him up.
But he came back together.
No, it was his heart. His heart. The thing ate his heart. The guy, like, was it the
I ain't seen that one in forever.
I haven't either. But that was the end when the Freddy Club came up and grabbed the mask. I actually like that one. I just like it. They're fun. I'm okay with there being like a bajillion phrases because they were campy to begin with.
Yeah.
Michael's a more serious movie, and so was like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, whereas Jason's always just been pretty campy.
It says Season of the Witch is amazing. And this is the thing, if people hate Season of the Witch so much, why did in the new Halloween Kills, they want to ignore all the other parts, but yet they pay homage to Season of the Witch?
I don't know.
I'm not going to the theaters to see Halloween Kills. I'm not going. It's not a theater movie for me.
I like going to the drive-in. I'll go to the drive-in.
Halloween 3 as a standalone film. Yeah, Halloween 3 was thought. I mean, it was thought. Everybody knows Halloween 3.
There was an experiment, and people didn't want that. They wanted Michael, so they gave you more Michael.
Elizabeth,
I have seen the Mortuary Collection.
Now, what did you think of the Mortuary Collection?
I had some really strong segments. It did have some weak points,
good.
But it was pretty good overall. The ones that were good were really good. Which one was your favorite?
I like it when it reveals like the big aha and she got the new job. I don't want to spoil it for everybody. But I like the wraparound story. I think the wraparound story was solid. I thought it was funny as crap that they used. Isn't that the guy that voices like Mr. Krabs on SpongeBob?
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it? I don't remember that. I didn't know that. I had no idea. But the twist at the end, the wraparound story, was definitely really, really good.
Because I think scary stories that they tell in the dark. I think is that the correct title of that one?
Mm-hmm. I didn't really like that one.
The wraparound story overpowered the segments.
No, the visuals were incredible. I liked how they were able to replicate the images and put them in the movie. I just felt like Goosebumps did it more effectively.
And because they had that, what was it, Jangly Man, the contortionist guy, that was really, really cool.
What is it? What is it? I can't remember. Oh, but Mortuary Tales had one of my favorite stories, which was the one where, like, it was I'll give away too much. Never mind. Just watch Mortuary Tales. There's one in there that like will make men squirm, and it's great.
Now, Jim said one aspect why I like Halloween 2018 is that they made Michael mortal and his drive is just evil. And he said, do you remember Pieces or Truth or Dare from the 80s? I vaguely do. When I think 80s, maybe it's, I forget what year it was made. My third favorite movie is Motel Hell.
Oh my God, meat's meat and man's gotta eat. It takes a whole lot of critters to make Farmer Vincent's fritters. I like his secret garden.
Yeah, that was a good movie. I'm surprised they haven't tried to remake that.
Who do you think would be a good director to remake that?
Who, me?
No, I mean, like, who do you think if they had to pick, or do you want to remake it? Maybe you should remake it.
I would remake it. I think I've got a good vision for it.
Okay, so for Truth or Dare, are we talking about the Tim Ritter movie? Is that what I'm just making sure. I think it's called A Critical Madness for the 1980s. We're talking about.
I do not remember, but I'll have to put it on my watch list.
Because he said Truth or Dare. I'm just making sure I have the right one. I believe it's Truth or Dare, Critical Madness. That's the only one I know of from the 80s, and I have seen that. Have you seen Killing Spree, which is a Tim Ritter movie? It's more like a horror comedy. It's ultra low budget.
I haven't. I just watched. You talk about lower budget. I just watched Butchers.
What is it?
Butchers. It's a newer indie Canadian film.
I haven't heard of it. I'll have to check it out. Where can I watch it?
Amazon. It was kind of like. I kind of found it funny that Canadians were doing like hillbilly movies.
Hey, they can have hillbillies in Canada. I'm sure.
They might. I mean, I guess there's hillbillies everywhere, wouldn't there be?
Yeah, I mean, even like there's ultra violent French films with hillbillies.
I just kind of, maybe it's just because I'm in the Carolinas. It's like I feel like the Carolinas, Virginia, West Virginia, we all do the hillbillies pretty good.
You're like, Wrong Turn is my movie.
You know, I was talking with Damien, who's in the new Wrong Turn.
I haven't seen it yet. Isn't he good?
I like it actually. He was telling me that he didn't realize why they made so many wrong turns until they released the new one. And he's like, a lot of South American / Argentinian people watch it, and that's where they got the funding to make like 500 million wrong turn movies.
I like the first one a lot.
Jim says Tim Ritter directed True for Dare.
Yes, I've seen it. That is a wild, weird movie. But who was it that asked that question? Have you seen? I missed it, but have you seen Killing Spree? If you've seen Tim Ritter, so Tim Ritter is an ultra low budget horror director, which actually I've interviewed, and he was talking about like all the ways they make these low budget movies and recycle props and how to make movies with like no budget. Like it was almost like a lesson on horror movie making, low budget 101. It's a pretty amazing conversation because he's been a long time filmmaker.
Now, Killing Spree, that was from the 80s.
Mm-hmm. It stars a guy named Asbestos Felt. I watched it at some like Valentine's Day mashup they had at the at Studio Movie Girl here. And they were like, it's actually a pretty good movie. And I watched it. It's like the most ridiculous movie I've ever seen. The ending is like, what is going on and what happened?
Yeah, this Tim Ritter guy, he's directed a gazillion movies. He did Earth Girls Are Sleazy segment. Yeah, he's done a lot he's directed 22 movies.
All low budget, I believe.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out.
But yeah, they're campy. They're cheesy. They're like what the hell is happening movies. But yeah. Truth or Dare, Critical Madness, I saw at Alamo Draft House, and I saw Killing Spree at like some Valentine's Day matchup. It's about a guy who thinks his wife's having an affair because he finds this like notebook she's writing, and he goes and kills like all the people, but she's just writing like stories about the guys coming into her house trying to make up erotic fiction. And he kills them in like the weirdest ways, like goes over their head with a lawnmower, or like chops off their head and it like flies across the room. Really, really out there, bizarre movie, but it's a lot of fun.
Brandon says Wrong Turn 2 is the best. Is that the one with Henry Rollins in it?
That's what I was to ask. I think it is. I like that one too, if it is. Or is it Wrong Turn 3 that has Henry Rollins? I get confused because he's in Feast. Also, like Feast 2. I get confused if it's Wrong Turn. I'll get the sequels confused, which one's he's in.
Yeah, I like Henry Rollins. I talked to him one time and I asked him about his movies, and he's like, hey, I need to make a living. Andrew said Motel Hell feeding the heads is such a great scene.
The ending scene with the pig head and the chainsaw.
So where can we see that interview? What interview?
Oh, you're talking about the one where I interviewed Tim Ritter?
Yeah.
It should be on YouTube. It was another show I used to be on called The Corpse Paint Show, and we interviewed Tim Ritter, and it's on YouTube somewhere. But yeah, it's on YouTube. You can totally find it on YouTube if you want to see that interview. It's like 2 hours long, I think. Yeah, which feast was it? I think it was Feast 2 or 3 that Henry Rollins was in. We'll have to look.
Yeah, I went to one of Henry Rollins' events where he's into photography, and he took a ton of photography everywhere he was traveling to, and I thought that was pretty interesting. I think something that, and you guys let us know in the comments. Janie I'm gonna just go ahead and say you're an expert in sideshow stuff.
Yeah, I'm a sideshow performer.
Yeah, we ought to do a sideshow live feed and talk about the different slideshow acts and performances and stuff like that. What do you think?
You want me to do a sideshow? You want me to do a sideshow stunt for you right now?
Really?
Yeah. Hold on. 1 second.
Oh my goodness. What in the world is she gonna do? She got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game out there. I want to play that.
Oh yeah, I got Ninja Turtle Arcade. It's Turtles in Time and just the regular Ninja Turtles.
I want to play it.
You come over and play it. Come to Texas. We'll go to the gas station and we'll play Ninja Turtles. Who's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Donatella.
Yeah, Donatella's a good one. So I have a Ninja Turtle dating theory. When I would go out on dates with guys, I'd always ask them who their favorite Ninja Turtle was. And depending on who it was, I would go out with them. Or if it was a certain one, I would not. Because I believe that each Ninja Turtle represents different people's personalities. So this is a power drill. This is something called human blockhead. So what you do is you take an object.
I'm gonna give you the whole screen. Hold on.
And so it's very important that before you insert this in the center of your head, your skull, that you properly lubricate it. So I'm going to lubricate it with the best type of lubrication available, my own spit. Now I'm going to take this power drill, this drill bit, 6 inches, it's all about size, and I stick it into the center of my skull, which you would think would be here, but it's actually here. And now, something very important, you always clean your tools before you put them away. And that's the human blockhead with a power drill.
I would have to say that is a first. I usually don't see females use the drill that way.
No, that's what I'm saying. I've got all these things around my apartment, and I don't even realize they're weapons. Or
yeah.
tools and useful. Like, you should see me at Home Depot, and I'm like analyzing screwdrivers and being like, will this one fit in my nose? So yeah, I can also take. Wait, what was it? What was the question? I want to hear.
Hunter said, "Do not go out with Leo or Donnie."
I tend to be attracted to Donatello. I think it's a smarter, nerdier type, but I am definitely a Raphael. That's my favorite. I don't ever
love sideshows.
That's just my what I keep in my pocket. I usually keep a condom too. It's a nice tease. I pull the condom out and I'm all like, hey, I got a condom. Then I open it and I snort it up my nose and pull it out of my mouth.
Oh my goodness.
It's fun.
He says, yes, you're awesome. Jim says, bravo.
Oh, thanks, Jim.
And Patrick did 3 of the prayer hands.
Oh, hi, Patrick. That's my friend. He lives.
And he said, lubed.
Lubrication is important.
Oh my goodness. Well,
And I keep my coffins in a box. I keep my nails in a coffin box because it's the final nail in the coffin. Because I also blockhead coffins. Not coffins, nails.
I think we need to have another show where we talk about side shows and everything, freak shows and stuff. That is crazy. Mm-hmm. Elizabeth said, how long did it take you to learn that trick? I know it's not something you could just go and do.
I worked my way up to it. I started out by blockheading a Q-tip and then learning how to use a nail, and then from a nail, a screwdriver, and then from a screwdriver to the power drill. But the power drill is really dangerous. Don't do it anyway at home for sure. If you want to do it, get a mentor. Have someone teach you how to do it. But yeah, I had a mentor that taught me how to do everything. But it was definitely it was a progression. Yeah.
I think definitely we'll get something on the schedule for that and talk about some more stuff. Have you on here with me if you don't mind.
Always down. It's always a good time. It was an absolute pleasure meeting you at Mad Monster last weekend and talking about all the spooky paranormal stuff. We got to talk about paranormal stuff too at some point.
Yeah.
Paranormal stuff. Oh my gosh.
I was thinking maybe we could do a paranormal experiment. I have a haunted painting.
A haunted what? Painting? Okay.
From the Clown Motel in Nevada. I went to the Clown Motel before it became trendy to go to the Clown Motel,
Mm-hmm.
and the new owner let me do, and it's on this YouTube channel on Mad Monster. They let me do a spirit box session and an Ovilus session inside the lobby of the Clown Motel.
Mm-hmm.
And I set that Ovilus down, and I said, "Is there anything in here that wants to talk to me?" And that Ovilus said, "No." I was like, "Holy crap!" But my thing is I spent 3 nights there, and the new owner said, you can have the painting in your room. It's the only time a painting has been given away from the Clown Motel.
That's awesome.
And then I hung it up, and weird stuff started happening. So what I ended up having to do was put it in a storage unit so I could have a little bit of peace at my home.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just recently brought it back out just to kind of see, and it's got a weird energy. I was thinking maybe we could do an Ovilus session with it.
That would be so fun.
If you guys subscribe to the channel, we might work that out and do something crazy like that,
Mm-hmm. I want to see. I would love to do that. It was funny. So last night we were doing the spirit box session with the Ouija board that they had at Horror Freak, which they said had got some type of energy around it. And I literally went to 7-Eleven to get more Red Bull. Walked back in, and they had been having a communication with somebody named Lisa, and I walked in and it called me a stripper. And like the night before, like literally Friday night, I was at a strip club doing a gig.
Awesome.
So it's new.
Nerd Report said hello. Hey, Nerd Report. We were all hanging out together at the Mad Monster party in Arizona. I think Sarge should live stream weekly. If we pass the word around on YouTube, I decided to move our live streams to YouTube because Facebook was just being weird. I posted a meme 3 years ago, and then Facebook wants to give me a strike for a meme that was posted 3 years ago. So it's like it's hard to get on Facebook and discuss horror because a lot of people, the Facebook algorithm doesn't like it when you start talking about your favorite kills or creepy stuff. They suppress your video. So that's why we're over here on YouTube. YouTube's where it's at. It's easier to stream to YouTube and it's fun. Before we end this, do you have any last words, Janie? For the live stream, not last words forever.
Forever? If I were to die now. Last words for live stream? I have no idea. That's a tough one to be on the spot. Ghosts are real.
What?
Ghosts are real.
Ooh.
Just kidding. I don't know. Long live horror and Mad Monster.
That's what I'm talking about. I appreciate everybody watching it. Brandon just said it. They gave me a strike for Jeffrey Dahmer meme from 2014.
I had a lot of friends that got that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I posted a meme where they're doing Daniel says, are you going to still do the live seance with the painting? We'll get that into work so Janie will do it with me.
Of course.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you guys watching. Share and help us get the word out about the YouTube channel here. Like and subscribe. You never know what we're going to post on here. You never know what we're going to do. I got some great videos uploading this week with a Scream 5 exclusive update. So if you're a Scream 5 fan, you want to subscribe to this channel because I got a great video that I shot with that. Everybody watching, take care. I appreciate you joining me, Janie. Appreciate you guys for watching. Sergeant Horror for Mad Monster, and we're out of here.
Bye.